elephants in the room. Why is Nigeria so good at scamming? I would never have understood this title. You would think, why is India so good at scamming? That's normally the stereotype, but okay, I've never heard of a Nigerian scammer, but okay, I'm gonna check it out.
I have a sad email to share with you. It's from Mrs. Bundana Alexander. She needs my urgent reply. Her husband was murdered by Russian army troop. It was so very terrible. He was a successful farmer, and she acknowledged.
The way it starts is just like, okay, this is fake. So I'm going to go on a story tangent here. So the other day, me and my wife went to the store. I think it was last week. Me and my wife went to the store shopping. And we went into the store. We grabbed what we want. I got a new pair of sandals for myself because it was like, you know what? I'll reward myself. And we were walking out, and this guy literally stopped us. The security guard stopped us and literally started talking to us. And he went on and on and on about how his family and everything. And it got to the point where it was just like, yeah, maybe there's partial truths in this story, but the thing was so ridiculous. Apparently he was like a ranger, not a ranger, but he was like the American sniper. Yeah, he was literally that person. Like in his mind, probably. He didn't say he was that, he didn't use that person's name, but he literally claimed to be that kind of person, that he was in the Marshals, that his sons are in the Rangers, or like all this stuff. It was like the more he added to the story, the more fictional it became. Was he probably in the army? Yeah, there could be a possibility. Does he have like 8 kids like he said he does? Yeah. Probably. Are they in the military? Yeah, probably. But it's all the extra data that they put onto it makes it seem like they're lying every single time, because he was talking to us about how, oh, my child, oh, you know, the thing that happened recently in Iran, and yeah, it was my son that went there in order to do that thing. It was just like, oh my gosh, what the heck? It's like, oh, but I'm not allowed to talk about it with my other son who's also in the military. It was just like, dude, why are you saying it? Why are you saying it? So it just got to the point where it's just like, oh my gosh, this person's lying. This person's lying, because liars always give too much information. They always give too much information. They embellish so much. People who are just living a life, they view their lives as normal. That, like, when my wife asked me about my day, what she wants me to give the description that person, that security guard at that place gave. But the thing is, my day at work is the same every single day. Unless something interesting happens, I literally tell her I was at work, because there's nothing unique there. There's nothing unique there. But if I was going to lie about it, if I like, let's say I went to do something else, if I started to give more information about my day, my wife would start to question me on it. Why? Because it's not natural. Did Prince not send you a message? Yeah. Getting those fictional messages. But yeah, it's just always avoid those people who have a story to tell and give you too much information. Because if someone in my family has a hard time, they just say, oh, I have a hard time, this just happened. They don't give you an entire tangent as to what led to that. They're just like, oh, things are rough, I'm dealing with this. Plain and simple. We don't need to know the entire story.
Very well that her husband deposited $1.7 million into an account, and she solicits for my honest assistance to get it out. For many people, Nigerian prince letters were the internet's first real scam. The setup was always the same. Someone had millions of dollars trapped in a bank account, usually inherited, and needed your help to get it out. In return, you'd get to keep a healthy cut, but you'd soon learn that there were small fees and taxes and bribes and paperwork to get paid before you finally became a millionaire. And they were kind of funny because, well, they were just stupid. I mean, a ridiculous story, typos throughout, broken English that made you want to forward it to a friend just to mock. I mean, I almost felt bad for the wannabe scammers because they evidently couldn't even find somebody to correct their English. But as it turns out, they weren't the naive ones. I was. Because they emailed millions and millions of these out. And if their scam sounded reasonable at all, they'd have thousands of replies to deal with. Those crappy emails weren't trying to fool even modestly intelligent people. They were filtering them out. The people who believed it, they were the perfect targets. Those stupid emails help steal an estimated $2.5 billion from people around the world, a few $1,000s at a time. And that's just the tip of the Nigerian iceberg. Today's elephant in the room is this. How did one African nation, out of 195 countries around the world, become a major player and, to many, the face of online scams? I'm Ken LaCourte. My gig here is that I find interesting, sometimes uncomfortable questions, and I do my best to research them and present the answers with as least bias as I can be able to do. I'll walk you through what I learned, starting with a look at Nigerian in the scam world and how it stacks up. Then we'll learn about what their scams look like, how Nigeria became the perfect scamming storm, how they created an entire industry, and finally think about what's next, scamming 2.0. And spoiler alert for that last part, AI is going to make this world a whole lot scarier. Okay, so first, where does Nigeria stack up in the scam world? Let's start with a few numbers. In 2022...
Like the scams will be absolutely targeted because they're going to utilize your social media platforms. AI will be utilizing everything that you've put out there publicly in order to curate the perfect scam. The perfect scam. So for me, it might be a coffee company wanting to have me promote their wares. Well, that doesn't make much sense, but I have to send them money before they can send me the products. You know, something stupid like that, something simple, because if they can scam enough people out of like $20, they could make thousands upon thousands of dollars if they just get enough $20 bills. Because it's not about the massive payouts in the future when it comes to AI. It's going to be about the small little amounts that they can get from billions of people rather than the hundreds of people that pay tens of thousands of dollars. Because $20 from a billion people is much more than $10,000 from 1,000 people. From a million people even.
The FBI logged over 800,000 cybercrime complaints worldwide. 3 countries kept popping up as the origin of most of them. Russia, China,
you may be
Nigeria.
offline for
and Nigeria,
5
with
minutes.
less than 3%
all right.
of the world's population, punches way above its weight class. A Microsoft study showed that more than half of all scam emails came from Nigeria. And the FBI reports that Nigerians
Then why is India called a scam? A scammer?
Nigerians out there, I'm not saying you're all scammers. You just have a lot more of them in your country than most others do. And interestingly, each scam country kind of has its own specialty and personality. India dominates tech support and impersonation scams like your computer has a virus, fake IRS agents, and suspended Amazon accounts. Russia and...
Well, because it's normally a virus that's put on the computer. It's normally an accidentally downloaded virus because they opened an email they shouldn't have, and then it downloaded the virus, and then it immediately pops up on their screen, FBI warning, call this number. Bye, cool, bye. It's just like, what the heck?
China, they have the biggest ticket, the more sophisticated ones. Ransomware, deep espionage, and corporate extortion. It's darker, and a lot of it never gets reported because companies don't want to look stupid. In Nigeria, well, they're in it all, but their special niche is emotional manipulation, often romance scams. They don't just steal your password. They build a fake identity, a fake relationship, a fake life, and then they drain your bank account. One study from the University of Bristol found that over 30% of fake dating scams worldwide traced back to Nigeria. So let's now take a look at what their scams look like, because they've come a long way from the I'm a prince in exile letters. The romance scams are particularly brutal. They're long cons. A scammer pretends to be a soldier stationed overseas or a lonely widow. They build trust. They send photos and listen. After weeks, even months, then they hit you with a crisis, a medical bill, or a visa problem, whatever it takes to get you to send them money. And people fall for it. And I'm not talking about one guy in Florida. I'm talking about thousands of people. In 2021 alone, romance scams cost Americans over $500 million. And Nigeria is the biggest pipeline. I had an elderly relative who was hooked by scammers who talked to her for hours, over days and days. It wasn't a romance scam. She was convinced that she'd won the publisher sweepstakes, and that was going to pay for her grandkids' college expenses. And she got really messed up when that fake reality exploded. I mean, they took some of her money, but they also took a lot more from her. But in Nigeria, it's not just romance and lottery scams. They're also big on what they call BEC scams, business email compromise. Scammers spoof a company exec and trick someone in accounting into wiring money to the wrong account. A few fake emails, a fake invoice, and just like that, hundreds of thousands of dollars are gone. They've stolen money from governments and school districts throughout the United States. They scammed a Brazilian
people are
bank
stupid
out of
enough to, like, I find it hilarious that at my workplace, like almost every single week, I get an email from IT warning people not to open X, Y, and Z email. Be sure to talk to your supervisor when there's an XY asking for money, asking for this, asking for that, asking for every single time. Because a lot of these people get easily fooled, give more information. So that way, the next chain of emails comes out, they're like, give more and more specific information. And the IT always has to talk to these retarded employees. Don't do that. And the thing is, a lot of these employees, they are elderly. So they're not retarded. They're just not tech savvy. Don't understand how it works. They see, oh, the company owes this much, so they wire this much. Or they see an email saying, oh, I need to know your exact location, your office number, all this, because we're doing they give all the exact information. It's how they target people, and they get more and more specific with each email. So that way they can target another facility that using that person's name. Because it's like, oh, they reported this. Like, and they constantly, IT sends out emails. Don't do that stuff.
$1 million. The bank thought they were investing in a Nigerian airport, and that never existed. Other plays include fake job postings, fake charities, fake inheritances, all low-cost, high-return frauds that prey on trust, loneliness, and bureaucracy. They've been doing this for years and years, and they're good at it. But how did Nigeria become the perfect scamming storm? It's not the only poor country around. It's not even the poorest. Plenty of places have high unemployment, cheap internet, but something very specific happened in Nigeria. And it's a mix of language, ambition, and dysfunction, and a culture that doesn't just tolerate fraud, but in some cases, applauds it. Start with the basics. There's a huge young population, and many of them are broke. Youth unemployment floats somewhere between 35 and 50%, depending on how you count it. And that's not just poor kids. It includes college grads, people who speak English, people who should be running businesses or building companies. So when somebody figures out that you can sit in a cafe in Lagos, download some scam scripts, and walk away with rent money or more, that spreads. Now add language, because Nigerians don't just speak English, they speak English that's more like ours. It's the country's official language, so school, media, business, politics, it's all in English. And it's not a weird hybrid English or a heavily accented speech. There's a clarity to it, and it can be closer to how Americans and Brits speak than most accents in Asia or Eastern Europe. If you're pretending to be an army officer from Texas or a rep from Chase Bank, your accent has to pass muster. But here's where Nigeria really pulls away from the rest of the world, and it's not about money or tech. And it's the case that I'm discovering in so many of these videos, it's about culture. Because in parts of Nigeria, scamming doesn't just happen, it thrives in the open. Many scammers call themselves Yahoo boys, and they're not laying low. They're throwing parties, buying cars, sitting in the VIP sections at clubs, and people treat them like ballers. There's an actual Yahoo Boy Awards banquet where the biggest fraudsters of the year, they get trophies and applause and bottle service. One year it went bad for them and ended up in arrests, but Yahoo boys live large. Some church pastors have even blessed their earnings. Not metaphorically, literally. One popular preacher said that people shouldn't judge flashy young men because maybe God had blessed them through online work. And that wasn't irony, it was validation. There are songs on the radio praising scammers. Nigerian artists rap about swindling Westerners and living the high life. The clubs don't turn them away, the politicians don't crack down. In some cases, those people even benefit from the money floating back into the local economies. And underneath it all is a narrative that makes the hustle feel righteous. The Western world looted Africa for centuries. You colonized us, you stole our resources, now it's payback time. That mindset isn't universal, but it's not rare either, especially among people who feel completely locked out of the formal economy. They're not breaking the rules in their mind, they're gaming a rigged system. And when that mindset becomes normalized, when it's in the music, the sermons, the clubs, you stop seeing fraud as fraud. It becomes a hustle or a talent. Law enforcement? I mean, look, every poor country has corrupt cops, but Nigeria's police force
every country has corrupt
particularly weak
cops
when it comes to digital crime.
It doesn't need to be poor to have corruption. It doesn't need to be poor to have corruption. Let's just be honest.
The EFCC, their cybercrime agency, they make arrests, but they're often for show. High-profile busts, photo ops, then months pass and nothing happens. Most scammers don't get charged, and everyone knows it. All of that led to Nigerians who created an industry. These aren't random teenagers firing off emails from a cyber cafe for the most part. It's more of a business, organized, scalable, more like an industry. There are Telegram and WhatsApp groups where scammers swap tips like trading stock advice. They have romance scripts, fake CEO profiles, phishing templates, passport generators, shell company guides, even downloadable invoice kits ready to send off to school districts in Michigan or law firms.
I've gotten one of those.
It's turnkey fraud. And in Nigeria, they don't just learn this stuff on YouTube. There are actual recruitment pipelines, informal Yahoo academies where pros walk you through the playbook. How to pick the right victim, how to build emotional rapport, how to spin stories just believable enough to land. And they're not rare. In a single bust last year, Nigeria's police raided a cybercrime camp and arrested 25 students on the spot. Their laptops were loaded with fake websites and scam scripts ready to go. And once the money hit, it doesn't go straight to Nigerian bank accounts, like it's flagged. It's routed through a network, what law enforcement calls a money mule chain. Retirees in Ohio, freelance translators, girlfriends who think they're helping a boyfriend invest. Some know what they're doing, others may not. But either way, by the time anyone notices, the trail's cold and the cash is gone. And here's the uncomfortable truth that makes it all work. The return on their investment is high, and the risk of getting caught, it's low. In 2024, Nigerian authorities convicted over 500 cybercriminals, which sounds impressive until you remember that there are thousands more operating at any given time. And if I've gotten anything wrong in this video, I'll pin it in a correction below. And if you're digging it, stick around for more. But even though the Nigerian scammers seem rooted in the past, I mean, when was the last time Yahoo was cool? Their futures actually look pretty bright. Some might say disturbingly bright. That Nigerian prince, he's got a new business partner straight from Silicon Valley, artificial intelligence. AI just handed every scammer in Lagos a Harvard MBA in fraud. What we've seen so far is kindergarten stuff compared to what's coming. I mean, just think about for a moment what you could do and put together with deepfake romance scams using AI. You don't need any more stock photos. AI creates a gorgeous face in any location and style that you can imagine. She'll come complete with a fake LinkedIn, fake Instagram, fake everything. They'll text you good morning for 3 months, share fake stories about their dog, remember your birthday, and then they'll need $5 grand for a family emergency. Someone running one of the old scams could hit maybe 50 people. AI is going to let them hit 50,000 with personal messages and custom backstories. They'll know your job, your friends' names, and what you last posted on Facebook. Crypto scams? Fake investment platforms that look identical to the real ones, down to the customer service chatbots. You deposit your Bitcoin, and it vanishes into the Nigerian digital jungle. Job scams are brutal too. They'll have listings online and LinkedIn. You apply for a remote position, you download the customer software when you finally get your job, and then they own your computer. Every password, every bank account, every embarrassing photo you thought was private. Nigeria's EFCC still does their flashy raids, arresting guys in their underwear, seizing Lamborghinis. It's good TV.
I heard about the
but
Spider-Man leak.
Because for every scammer they bust, 10 more are learning Python programming and studying your grandmother's Facebook posts. Our best hope, it's not the Nigerian police. It's likely the same industry that's given these scammers superpowers. You and I aren't getting any more intelligent, but hopefully we'll soon be armed with superpowers of our own. Defensive AI built to combat the scenarios that I just laid out. Look, as bad as these digital crimes may be, they pale in comparison to some of the world's worst places. And at the bottom of that pit are warlords who discovered something horrific. Children make great soldiers. They're not Navy SEAL good, but as awful as it is...
More of that. Yeah. I gotta say, yeah, AI is gonna make things... the only way to combat AI is with AI. So it's gonna be one of those catch-22 situations. It's gonna suck. The future is gonna be very morbid. Very morbid. And the fact, like, I've never understood how people fall victim to these scams. But like my father was close to falling victim. I mean, I caught him on the computer talking with somebody who was trying to talk him into opening a back door for him to have access to the computer. I remember that. It was just like, why the heck are you talking to that person? I grabbed the phone and I'm like, hello? And I was just like, yeah, I just hung up on the person. I'm like, don't answer this call. Don't deal with these people. Anytime someone asks you to do anything on the computer, come to me first. Come to me first. Don't ever listen to this. Don't ever open your emails that say, warning, you owe this bill. Don't ever bother with that. It's just going to be terrible. It's going to be terrible in the future. Yeah, so these are custom AI LLMs, which are presenting and uncensored, or use open source, are not that advanced like Mythos OS, Mythos 5. I don't know why I said OS, but yeah, it won't be. There's always going to be something better, something that's going to be able to defend. But it's still bad. It's still bad. I don't like how it's becoming. Again, I like AI becoming a tool for people to utilize, but the wrong people are using it as tools. Not the people who just want to have their story be told or want to get something done and have it put out there. No. The worst people are the ones who are going to use it to take advantage of people. DeepSeek V4, Flash, and Pro are cloud models are really good. That can also be used by experts to custom train to stop these scams. Yeah, hopefully. I'm not going to call your father an idiot. Ignorance is a thing too, but the U.S. is a prime target for this crap after the education system was crapified. Yeah. Like, again, well, my father's from Mexico. He's not American. He wasn't educated here. He was educated in Mexico. But he just doesn't know any better when it comes to that kind of stuff. So he's a prime target. The elderly are a prime target. Those who went through the public education system of the U.S. are a prime target because they don't know how to critically think for themselves. You
guys got a video? So bad.
forget to like and subscribe.
Wait, wait, Sandra.